All right, so week one of the NFL season is in the books. The New Orleans Saints was able to conquer the Houston Texans in what was a very exciting last 2 minutes. And to be honest, I don't even know who won the Oakland and Denver game. Really, oh right, Raiders won. But one of the issues that I have with this week is one of the issues I have with a lot of things, revolving around sports. We're way too comfortable with being extremely one way or extremely another way. And what I mean by that is, before this whole Antonio Brown drama fest that happened in Oakland, people were excited to see Antonio Brown see what he can do for this Oakland team to transform them to, I guess, turn them into a contender. But as soon as Antonio Brown was cut, then we cut our belief that the Raiders would do anything of substance. But see, to me, like I did a season prediction of how I think the season will play out, and if anybody saw that, I mean, I had the Raiders not even make. To be honest, I had the Raiders that had picking the top five. Then that was with AB. That was with Antonio Brown playing. I had them picking top five. I think the worst team I had was the Arizona Cardinals. I don't think the Cardinals are going to improve that much this year. I mean, they had a really good showing. It started off slow, but they turned it around. I think they tied the game up. I don't believe they won the game though, but actually, I stopped following it to be honest. I was surprised that they were able to tie the game up after being down multiple scores, and I just stopped paying attention to it. But I don't think they're going to do anything significant this year. I mean, I'm not saying Kyler Murray won't do anything significant in his career. I just don't think he'll do anything significant this year. And for anybody that likes Madden, I'm going to do a video on the issues that I have with the X Factor, and it's going to be tied into what I think about the whole elite conversation. Because, as far as the elite conversation, I'm going to save it for that video. But the best moment of this week, right? I don't know what this Odell Beckham Jr. picture has to do with anything, but I think it has something to do with them losing by 30 to the Titans. To be honest, or they could just be making fun of the fact that this dude wore what was it? He wore a watch, an expensive watch to the game or some shit like that. I mean, it could be, but I'm just gonna assume that it's them losing 43-13, and I'm gonna rate everything on a scale from 1 to 10 on its significance. All right, Lamar Jackson had an outstanding game. I thought people were a little bit too hard on Lamar Jackson. I thought that he had such a good year and he got his team to the playoffs that people were. I thought people questioning him so much was alarming. I mean, not only did this dude manage to beat out Joe Flacco for the starting job eventually, because a lot of people were talking about, oh well, why don't he move over to wide receiver? He's so fast and all this other stuff. But he was able to win the starting job in Baltimore. But not only that, he went on a winning streak and got them into the playoffs on some real Tim Tebow type stuff. And people still give Tim Tebow a hard time about what he can't throw. He has an ugly throwing motion. He only plays well in the fourth quarter because he doesn't do shit for the rest of the game for the other 3 quarters. But he wins. That's what you don't understand. That's what people are choosing not to pay attention to. They look at a guy throwing the ball. They look at Brady throw the ball, and they be like, "Oh wow, look how beautiful Brady releases the ball. That's how the ball should be passed." Or Breeze, look how Breeze throws the ball. I mean, look at that. That is good technique right there. Like people criticizing the way this kid throws the ball. He wins games. He put up 50 fucking 9 on the Dolphins. Now, I'm pretty sure everybody already knew that the Ravens were going to win that game, but he put damn near 60 points up on that defense. 5 touchdowns. Unbelievable game. And I hope this is just the start for him. All right. Now, we have Brady and, as we all know now, the Pittsburgh Steelers were just destroyed by the Patriots. I mean, they look absolutely horrendous in that game. Ben Roethlisberger. Now I said this before the season even started. I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be very good this year, and I went as far to say I believe that they may miss the playoffs for a second time in a row. For a second straight year, they may miss the playoffs. But people believe in Pittsburgh so much. They believe that Pittsburgh can put up a fight so bad that they're willing to believe that, oh, well, Ben Roethlisberger don't need Antonio Brown. He doesn't need Le'Veon Bell. He has all these other weapons that he's going to use and he's going to win this game. Are you sure, though? Because the last time I checked, Antonio Brown was able to play without Ben Roethlisberger. When Ben Roethlisberger got hurt a few years ago and Michael Vick came in, Antonio Brown's production was still very high. He was still putting up, I believe, about around the same numbers. His averages were the same, even when Ben Roethlisberger went out and Michael Vick, took his place. Because that was a huge story back then about how Antonio Brown is still able to, keep up with the production. And then I honestly believe Antonio Brown made Michael Vick look so damn good that people were talking about, oh, Vick might not be done yet. Vick might get a job somewhere else, starting somewhere. So it's not hard for me to believe that the Steelers were going to get destroyed in that game. It's not hard for me to believe that the Steelers may miss the playoffs this year. Now I don't want to go too far and say that it will happen, because this is only week 1. All right, just like with the Raiders winning, just because they won the first game against a Denver team that is still shit. They were shit last year. They were shit the year before that, and they'll be shit again this year. That doesn't mean that the Raiders are still looked at as potential surprise or dark horses or whatever. It just means that it's week 1. Teams are still and we should know this by now. Early in the season is usually the acclimation period before the real season starts, which is around mid-October to the start of November, when the playoff positioning starts mattering. That's when teams start really playing. You start getting the best out of teams. Usually the first month or two is not really action packed. It's not really exciting. It's usually teams struggling for a short portion, and then they finally get it going. All right, and I think that's how this year is going. I mean, look at how Mitchell Trubisky played. Look at how Aaron Rodgers played. Look at how Ben played. I mean, there are teams that look at how the Jacksonville Jaguars played. I believe they gave up 52 points this week. I believe it was 52. Yeah, I want to look that up, but yeah. So it's going to take some time. So I'm not saying the Steelers won't win 7 or 8, maybe even 9 games, but they won't win their division, and they may miss the playoffs. And Odell Beckham Jr. and the Cleveland Browns obviously were destroyed by the Tennessee Titans. And I said this before when I was making my picks. For anybody that wants to go back and look at my picks for week 1, I gave my picks on who I thought. Actually, I'm gonna go look up my what my predictions were after I do this, and yeah, I'm gonna see how right I was and how wrong I was, and see what I can do for week 2. But I said the Tennessee Titans. You never know what you're gonna get, because they either play like complete bums or they play like title contenders. But you never know. They are so inconsistent. You never know. They played like title contenders yesterday. They looked like title contenders yesterday. And for some reason, Delaney Walker is still as dominant as he was for the last, 4 or 5 years. They look like title contenders today. Now, whoever they play next week, they could look like bums, man. That make people pump the brakes on them beating Cleveland as bad as they did. All right, and Cleveland can't come out. No, I believe Cleveland has an easy win next week. I gotta go over the week 2 schedule, because I think by today I want to finish my my predictions for next week. But yeah, man, just Cleveland. I don't think it's gonna be as good as people are expecting them to be, but Again, it's early in the season. We need to see by week 4, week 5, we should have some picture of what we're going to have by the end of the season. All right, and the last one is Will Lutz. Will Lutz. I really don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he is the kicker for the Saints, and he kicked a 58-yard field goal, which is his career long. And I watched those last 2 minutes of that game, and I have to say, Deshaun Watson is one of the most underrated players in the NFL. I don't think that he gets the respect he deserves. When the last time I heard people say good things about Deshaun Watson that wasn't either negative or content was when he played those 7 games and he threw for like 17 touchdowns or something and like 2 interceptions, and people thought that was amazing. It was an amazing stat line, but that was also the same year that Carson Wentz went off. So then we quickly forgot about Deshaun Watson and focused on Carson Wentz. So I don't think Deshaun Watson could have played any better than he did in that game. I mean, sure, one play here, one play there, but late in the game, he did what he needed to put his team on top. His defense, why would Bill O'Brien okay his defense going into prevent defense on the last offensive play of the game for the Saints? Why would you give them all that space? All they need to do is throw for 10 yards, if that, complete a pass, get down, call a timeout with like one, but it was 2 seconds, but with at least like 1 second on the clock, and win the damn game. Why would you go into prevent defense? You get up in their face, you get up in their shit, and you force them. You knock them off their routes. You do whatever you have to do to delay a couple of seconds. So it's not as easy for them as it was yesterday. That was sickening, man. Bill O'Brien is a sickening head coach. Because every year, man, this dude has a team that can compete on the highest level, and they always underperform every year. Even when they make the playoffs, underperforms every year. Below expectations. So, which one would I pick? So I'm going to rate these on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm going to say the Lamar Jackson moment. I'm going to get out of 10. It's so shocking that he played as well as he did, and it's so shocking that they whooped Miami. They beat Miami so bad. Miami players want to be traded now, and so I'm gonna give that a 10, man. That was just an unbelievable moment. Most likely that's gonna be my moment of the week. Tom Brady beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm gonna give this a 7. I'm going to give this a 7 because I don't think that it's as surprising to me as it is to other people that they beat the Steelers as bad as they did. And, of course, after the fact, people are going to come out and say, well, we knew that the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to get beat. We knew the Pittsburgh Steelers wasn't that good. No, a lot of people were picking the Steelers to win the game, and a lot of people were picking the Steelers to be competitive in the game, and a lot of people are still picking the Steelers to be competitive this season. I'm not. I think they're overrated. I think it's all bluster. We're going to see by the end of the season. So I'm going to give that a 7. Odell Beckham and the Titans. I'm going to give this an 8, man, because I was surprised. I'm not going to say too surprised because I know the Cleveland Browns are all talk right now. Baker Mayfield is all bravado. He's all, bravado. I'm just going to say bravado. He's all bravado right now. He's running his mouth. He's saying things. And like I said, I don't know if I ever put this in a video. I tried to, but I don't think I ever finished it. But the way he handled the Duke Johnson situation, I think was completely unprofessional. And he shouldn't have. He had no right to come at a player like that because they want to play. All right? He had no right. If you want to come at him behind closed doors. Do not rail him or do not say anything or comment anything about him to the media. Talking about, well, if he don't want to play, the train to keep moving. Bro, you just joined the fucking train, all right? And this isn't even a train, right? If this is a train, this train is not moving at all. It hasn't moved in fucking 30 years. So pump your fucking brakes, man. You didn't even make the playoffs last year. How was it a fucking train, bro? So, I don't know. I think Baker needs to shut the fuck up. So, I'm going to give that an 8. Because I thought that the Tennessee Titans coming in and Delaney Walker's post game interview with the media was gold, man. I should give it a 10 based off that interview, man, but I'm not. That was pure gold. All right, and the Saints and the Texans. I'm gonna give this a 5, man, because the fact that the Houston Texans were in a prevent defense, it was not hard for the Saints to get in position to kick a field goal. And the field goal was only 58 yards. If it was a 60-yarder, this shit would probably be a 9 or a 10. But it was a 58-yarder, and a couple yards do matter. If you see how close he came to missing the kick, 2 yards back, he probably would have clanged it off the bottom of the uprights. So a couple yards do matter. So I mean, 55 to 58, 50-yarders aren't that hard anymore. Players are able to kick 50-yarders now. To be honest, they're able to hit 50-yarders better than they can kick extra points. And extra points are at the 20-yard line, I believe, 25-yard line. They're able to hit 50-yarders better than they are at kicking extra points. Like, I've seen so many missed extra points over the past couple of years, man. Like, it's just ridiculous. I think kickers are losing their shit, to be honest. But I'm going to give that a 5, man. Lamar Jackson's moment was better. I'm sorry this video went a little longer than I wanted it to, but I just had some thoughts I wanted to get out about these games, man. I'm gonna start my week 2 predictions, man. Hopefully I do